So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back once again to the greatest watch market update show in the world. As you guys know, this is a public service watch announcement channel. Always trying to bring you what's happening out there in the greasy Muppet Boiler Room secondary gray watch market. These guys have had a way with you guys for too long. You guys have been fleeced and flim flam for too many years. And this channel is dedicated just to that, to watch over you, ladies and gentlemen, from getting flim flam. Flim flam. You don't know what the word flim flam is, you Google it and they'll let you know what flim flam means. So we're here for that, to protect you guys. And we do this simply for free. We do it for free of charge. While the rest that you guys look at, some way, somehow, they're fleecing you and flim-flamming you. We're not. We're just telling you what's happening out there. We're telling you the truth, what's happening out there. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking about quite a few things that I want to share with you out there. I want to share with you a couple of things that I must share with you these things. The first thing I want to share with you, ladies and gentlemen, is that we're going to talk about precious metal materials. As of today, the troy ounce price of rhodium is at $8,075. Palladium, the troy ounce of palladium is at $1,418.50. If you're looking at platinum, a troy ounce of platinum is $1,617.50 a troy ounce. These people are never going to tell you this because it's not to their convenience to let you know how precious metals is behaving. How's the troy ounce, of rhodium, palladium, platinum. They're never going to tell you that because they want to, they want to get you guys. They want to get you guys taken whichever way they can. Now that the watch market, secondary grade watch market is dead, because it's completely dead. These people are dead. Esto no lo levanta nadie, So, just to let you know, so you guys won't get taken. The price of silver, the troy ounce of silver is at $48.52. And the number one precious metal, which is gold, is unbelievable. It's there, stable. It's there. It's waiting for another government move. When the government makes a move, whether whatever it is, whether it's the shutdown, whether it's EBT, whether it's SNAP. Whether it's the new mayor we have over there and, over there in New York City, in the Bronx, whatever it is. Like I said again, SNAP, EBT, the government shutdown, whatever happens, this is what's going to happen and decide where gold is going. But with all that they're all quiet around the whole world, it's still at $4,015 a troy ounce, That is unbelievable that gold is still at 4,000. Al macho, strong, the big boy, the bully, Gold is like the bully. He's there, they ain't playing around. They're not telling us that if there's any gold over there in Fort Knox, nobody has said if there's any gold in Fort Knox, nobody. And people are still loading up on gold, just in case. I went the other day to do some groceries with my wife to that place over there where they have a lot of foods, like a warehouse. I think it's called, I don't know, I think it's called Costco, right? Costco, I think it's called Costco. And, they still don't have no gold. They still don't have no silver. So keep that in mind so you don't get tricked. All right, guys? I also want to talk to you something. I don't know how many of you are from Miami, Florida. I don't know how many are you from Miami, Florida. But we have a very, very old jewelry store here that was in all the malls of Miami. You know, Miami, even the north of Miami. You know, the north of Florida. You know, it was. I think it's called something like Bayers. You know, Bayers Jeweler. You know, Bayers Jeweler. They have them in Dayland Mall. You know, Dayland Mall. You know, saludos Aquiles. Saludos. Welcome to the show, Papa. They have them in Dayland Mall. They had them in Westland Mall. They had it in Aventura. You know, and all these places. You know, International Mall and Doral. You know, there was this store was everywhere, and that store carried a lot of different watch brands. You know, what I'm trying to say is this store has begun to close stores, and they had a lot of those stores everywhere. You know, they had a big chain, and they had brands like Patek Philippe. You understand me? They had Cartier, which I still believe they still have it too. Cartier and all the Omegas, Breitlings, all those watches you guys like, but they had separated from their store. They had to do a build out to have the Rolex, AD. And these people had so many stores and they have closed down. And I got a secret message from one of our organic watch channel subscribers. I respect that gentleman because he was the one that gave me a heads up. I cannot take no credit of that. Neither can Sweet Kid Kino. We're just gonna say we're gonna keep him anonymous. We don't want to use his name. But ladies and gentlemen, there's a store, which they call International Mall here in Miami, Florida. And these people have a beautiful store, and they did a couple of, fix it here, fix this, fix that, doing new, built outs because they're carrying the Rolex line, Ladies and gentlemen, this is a big store, I think it's called Bayers, Bayers, something to that. Bayers, they're all over the malls in Miami, and this is crazy. And this store that is an International Mall on December the 31st, after, I'm telling you, they were there for probably a good, that I can remember, a good 40 plus years. They're closing down, closing down the whole store. And they taking with them their, their AD is finito, goodbye, gone. In this channel, we can say the name. So if you know what name I'm talking about, put it up there so the rest of your organic watch channel subscriber pals understand what I'm saying, because I don't want to get a TV tower antenna thunder lightning, y me van a joder, So if you know what I'm talking about, you put it up there. They have more. So right now in Miami, the only stores that are left after so many of them, because I have told you that Rolex, poquito a poquito, slowly but surely, they're gonna take everybody's Rolex AD, away. I don't know what they're doing. If you know what they're doing, put it up there. If they're relocating, I don't know, right? But I'm gonna tell you this: the only 3 stores they are in the Miami area, I'm gonna tell you, is Adventura. Okay, Aventura Mall. The second one is Dadeland Mall. And the third one is Merrick Park in Coral Gables. It is a little place here in Miami, So those 3 malls here are the ones are left. The rest, Hacapu, they're leaving, se fueron. That's it, because I'm telling you, Rolex wants to be the cashier of all these ADs, and they're doing it. They're gonna do it. When you have a separation in a jewelry store, all alone, your Rolex AD, exactly. I maybe no going out of business. Who knows? I don't know if that's true or not. I'm telling you what it is. Se van ya. This is ugly. You know? And they're done. They've been cooked. They've been baked. You know? Como, you know, cocinar a cake. You know? The bake. You're done. That's it. On the 31st of December, that is the last day. A store that was there for 40 plus years. Se fue, papi. Gone. 40 plus years. Not even 40, 45. I can tell you 45. After 45 years, they're picking up all the belongings and they're gone, papa. Doing build out, doing everything, they're gone. Because I'm telling you, Rolex wants to be the one in control of the cashier. They want to see the sales. They want to see all the rings. They want to see all the customers, who they are. They want to take total control. I've been saying this for the last easy 3 years, you know? But there it is. You know which of the stores they're left. If you are a customer from that store, I don't know how to say the name of the store. So you know what I'm saying. Dayland, Aventura, and Merritt Park are left. The rest are gone. Se fueron pa casa. You know, del carajo. Se fueron ya. They're gone. Just to let you know. But they keep on telling you that the situation in the business is doing fantastic. And that's fine. Okay? Just to let you know what's going on with that. Ladies and gentlemen, I was at a Rolex 8D myself. And I went to pick up something in the Rolex 8D. And while I was there, I did a little bit of chit-chatting with the management and the salesperson. We talked, blah, 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 blah. And while I was in the store, you know, they're still playing that game that they let you in. They got to buzz you in, buzz you out. You know what I'm trying to say? There's a strong guy in the door. You know, they're still playing that, you know, that Corona beer era situation. They're still playing the Corona beer era situation. And I said something, you know, I said, you guys are still playing that, huh? You know, with a security just to let them in, and you know that? And they laughed because they know, they laughed and I laughed with them. And so the person walked in, and they started talking to one of the salespeople. And I kept on talking, I kept on looking, you know. I wanted my little Rolex hat, you know, a little Rolex hat that they got me, you know, with a number in the back. I don't know, one of those hats that they said they had for me. And I went to get it. And ladies and gentlemen, to my amazement, you know, the gentleman that walked in, he said that he was looking for a watch for him and his wife, you know, and the gentleman, I don't know how it was, but he says to, you know, to we were talking, he says, I know who you are. And the manager said, who, me? He says, no. That gentleman, he has a channel, which that was me. Unbelievable, you know? And I said, yeah, that's me, you know, that's me. And it's not my channel, it's Kino's. And he smiled. And he was looking for a watch, ladies and gentlemen. And to my amaze, he asked for his wife a Datejust. And they brought it out, a Datejust, and the wife liked it, and you know, and they asked if it was for, you know, they could buy it, and they say yes, and he said, but I also want a watch for myself. My eyes saw all this, just to let you know what's going on, just to let you know. So the lady put on her, you know, I believe it was a 36 millimeter. She put it on, nice, boom, boom, you know, a Jubilee bracelet. Black dial, she put it on, and he asked if you know, that he would like a Submariner, you know, a Submariner. And again, I'm watching the whole thing, and they said what we have right now in stock is a two-tone stainless steel with gold. Well, no, to make the long story short, they sold in front of my face a Datejust and a Rolex Submariner two-tone bluesy, you know? Just to let you know what's happening out there, Bobby. You know what's happening. They still have the security guard in the door. They're still playing that velvet game, you know, walk in, walk out. You come in, you leave, and, you know, like that. But it's what it is. I'm not going to tell you where it's at, but it's here. It's here in Miami, you know? It's here in Miami, you know? Just to let you know. Tú sabes, my eyes saw that. And I even told management, I said, congratulations, I told a gentleman that he was buying, I said, congratulations, I wanted to leave. I didn't want to be there involved in, what they were doing, the transaction and talking about this and that, he told me he knew me. I kish, but I saw them buying two, his and hers, two Rolex. Papi, yeah, it's out already, papi. It's out. Same day purchase, walked in with I'm telling you, you see, so at least somebody said it. Same day, he walked in, he asked for two watches, here they are. Papi, you guys gotta stop. You guys are mesmerized with the MK Ultra that we're still living in 2021. That we're walking around with, Catcher Smith, in our noses, and those days are over, Papa. We have other things that are happening in the world. Yeah, it's like, yeah. Or you have the money or you don't have the money, or you have the credit line or you don't have the credit line. If you have the cash, you're the king. If you have credit, you're the king as well because you have a credit and you can buy it and take it. And I said, wow, it wasn't no big deal. I mean, maybe you see, somebody even asked me the same day, do you think a 36 millimeter Jubilee Datejust was a big deal? And do you think a 41 millimeter two-tone yellow gold was a big deal? I mean, maybe it is a big deal. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I don't think. Now, if they would have given him any GMT, I don't know, a Batman or a Pepsi, not a Jubilee Pepsi, an Oyster one, I would go, wow, But it was just that. And they were doing it, they were happy, and bing, bam, boom. So just to let you know where and what direction the ADs are going. You want to know something because I'm stupid like that? I shouldn't tell you that. I can't tell you that because I'm going to tell you more, and you're going to know where and where and when it was. So, but it was a Rolex 80. Okay, just to let you guys know about that. Okay, one more thing that you guys need to know. We've had a lot of different subscribers reach out to us, and there's no secret. There's no secret that you guys have yourself, 5 different, places that you can look for watches. There's no secret about that. You got that 23 chrono. You got Jobs watches, Jobs watches. Jobs watches. You got that. The other one is called analysis charts watches, and you have also you also have one which out of all those that I told you already, the other one is called Bay E, Bay E, right? If you ask me, out of those 4 people, which is the one that you see, which is fair, and and people go there crazy, they put their watch, they don't care, they sell it because that happens in that Bay E, Bay E, play with the letters, Bay E, Bay E. And the other one is, 23 chrono, and you know what I'm saying? Jobs watches, Jobs, working, Jobs, and analysis, watch, chart, right? You guys gotta stop. You're looking at these people, and you're going bananas. You're thinking that these prices are this, and you see prices. Well, I saw it on analytic charts, and I saw it and 23 chrono. I saw it at this. You guys gotta stop that, Bobby. All these people work together, and they're working with the same number for you guys. Out of those 3, the one that I say that is, the one to look at, because una loquera, what they have there is that Bay E. Bay E. They don't care. They play. This is what I have. This is my number. Sell it. I don't want it. Sell it out. I don't want it. And you have a couple of, a couple of ladrones, a couple of not so honest people there too. But I say that, if you're gonna work with something and buy something, look at those people there because the numbers are more realistic. But the other ones, Papi, they're all playing with the same, memo. They're playing with the same memo and the same prices. So when they see a price there, like an example, they see a price there of a Rolex stainless steel Batman, Rolex stainless steel Batman Oyster bracelet, previous reference number, not the new reference number. And this is a watch that costs $9,800, and they have it there for 13.9, 14.7, 15.4, and then I come along and I tell you don't pay for that watch more than $12,300. But then you start telling me, but how is it that guy has it, that one, and the other one has it too? It's almost the same, and the other one has it on. I explained to them, all these people, they all try to work with the same numbers to get you somehow, So you guys got to stop being, crumb bums and sandbags, and cow tippers and possum kickers, and stop believing these people, Bobby. The fix is in. It's all rigged. It's all rigged to their convenience, not to yours, to them. It's what it is. These people, Papa, these people are asking for prices. I'm gonna tell you again one more time, and it's hard to believe it. You should be smart enough not to believe these people. They're still playing with prices from Corona, Corona beer era. They're still playing with Corona beer era prices. And that's a sketch. And you need to know about that. You need to be smart and stop believing these flim-flammers, these hucksters and hoodwinks. Papi, these people don't even do no more content, man. They don't have content to make sales on content. There's no more. There's no more sales. I just finished telling you that a customer walked in, with his second half, and he went there and he picked up 2 watches. That's it. It's what it is. They have to start letting go, Papi. They have to start letting go of material, of inventory. They have to let go of it. So your job is to continue going to your favorite AD and continue looking for watches. As a matter of fact, try to go to your local Rolex boutiques, boutiques. Basically, what they sell is just Rolex. There's no gold chain. There's no Robert coin. There's no this. There's no that. It's just Rolex. Rolex. These people, what they're looking for now is for new customers. These people have a funny way of managing things and seeing things and choosing and picking who should we get. These people have watches back in the safe all day, every day. I'm letting you know what's going on because you guys are still thinking too much about all these different things that you look at. I think the biggest hoodwink, which is working with every single Muppet boiler room secondary grade watch market dealer and backpacker and Corona era backpacker is that one. The analytic watch. Analytic watch. You got to be careful and be smart because these people están desesperados. These people are looking for customers. There's nobody out there. I'm also going to remind you, probably for the 6th time, if you are from Miami, Florida, and if you're not from Miami, Florida, there's a big show coming next week. I believe it's from the 14th to the 16th, and it's in Coconut Grove, Miami, Florida. If you know Coconut Grove, Main Highway, Dinner Key Auditorium, in that area. There's going to be a show there, and they say it's going to be a nice show to go and, meet, watch factories and manufacturers, luxury watches, what you like, what you like those watches. So if you're here in Miami, Florida, you're passing by, you got one day off on the weekend, go to that show there in Coconut Grove, and maybe you might see me and I might give you an autograph, an autograph and a picture with me and all that good stuff, All kidding aside. So just to let you know, guys. I'm gonna give you a watch market update so you guys can continue watching, Sunday football. All right, you continue watching Sunday football. And ladies and gentlemen, our first watch is a Rolex stainless steel GMT 40 millimeter. It's a Batman with an oyster bracelet, reference number 116710. It is an older reference, 40 millimeter with a retail price of $9,800. This is an older reference watch. It's an older watch, but don't pay what they're telling you over there in those, chart analytics. Chart analytics, don't pay that 13, 9, You pay and you show them the cash. Cash is king. You say, I'm a buyer. Play with the number between $12,000 and $12,300. Don't pay more than that. You pay more than that, you're a lollipop sucker. And you want the watch with the bells and whistles, full set. At least you want the card of the watch. All right. Our next watch, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna talk to you about a watch that came out sometime, in I don't know, in April, 2025, in that big show over there in Geneva. I don't know where, but over there, And this is a Rolex GMT Sprite, with a green dial and a green and black ceramic bezel, all white gold with an oyster bracelet. Reference number is the 126729VTNR. The retail price of this watch is $48,050. $48,050. This watch is dropping faster than Bill Clinton's pants in an Arkansas farmhouse. I'm telling you, sometimes these people get it wrong. They get it wrong. It's a big bus. A big bus. A bus means it's a failure. This watch is a failure, to be honest. It's a failure because you have one that's stainless steel with a Jubilee, with an oyster, with an oyster. You know what I'm trying to say, Achilles. You have one with the stainless steel with a Jubilee bracelet and an oyster bracelet, green and black ceramic bezel with a black dial. And now you have one that's, white gold, oyster bracelet with a green and black ceramic bezel with a green dial. Guess. And they're asking you $48,050. And ladies and gentlemen, because I'm stupid like that, I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that watch, no matter what. Listen to me. I don't want to say this, but I have to say it. And I always say that if you can't buy all your watches from your Rolex ADs, I always say that. But in this case, if you're going to pay $48,050 plus your taxes, that watch is going to jump up. I don't know. Somebody figure it out for me. Let's put 8% on that. 8% on taxes on $48,050. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, don't pay for that watch more. Listen and learn. Don't pay for that watch more than $45,000. And, it did. Dropping. All right. Okay. I'm just letting you know what's going on. Be smart with your money. Be smart. Okay. Be smart. And that was a white gold. Okay. So you know that. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you a Rolex. White gold, another GMT, white gold. And this is a Pepsi, with a red and blue ceramic bezel with a black dial. This is an older reference. An older reference when it first came out. Older reference is the 116719 40 millimeter. Very, very nice watch. The Pepsi, they call it the Pepsi. It doesn't have a blue dial. It has a black. It's an older version. The retail price of that watch is $36,750. Okay? Exactly. Wow. Somebody knows. So, I get happy. I stop right there when I see somebody like Mr. Mike that comes in, boom, and he just look at the number that Mr. Mike put there so you understand what's going on. I'm going to tomar un poquito de agua, Take a look what Mr. Mike put down. He's not no lambón. He's not no palomo. He knows what's going on. He knows what's going on. He put there for you guys. I didn't put that. He put there $24,000. White gold, papi. Gold is money, papi. Gold is money. $24,000. He put $24,000. I'll get to mine now. This watch brand right here. That's what he said. $24,000. Rolex GMT white gold Pepsi with a black dial. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. $36,750 is the retail price. And I'm gonna tell you, because I'm stupid like that, don't pay more. And I mean, don't pay more. You want it with all the bells and whistles. Use slider condition material watches. Don't pay for that watch more than $27,500. Listen to Mike. Listen to Mike. He knows what he's doing. Listen to Mike. I'm just letting you know. I'm just letting you know. This is another watch. In the Corona era, people went crazy because it was like, the Saru, these watches that came, GMT, full of, diamonds in the bracelet and the casing and the bezel. It's an unbelievable watch. This one is, with diamonds in the bezel and sapphires, And this is a Rolex, beautiful, beautiful watch, ladies and gentlemen. Beautiful, beautiful watch. Yellow gold GMT. Sapphire diamond. It's the reference number of this watch is the 116758 SANR. Unbelievable. The retail price is $154,900. Okay? $154,900. Beautiful watch. Diamonds, the lugs, unbelievable, this watch. But I gotta tell you, ladies and gentlemen, if you were banking on that watch and you're thinking about buying it, you better, you better check yourself out first. Don't pay for that watch, and I mean don't pay for that watch more than $73,000 in dropping. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. It's a Rolex day. If you want Rolex, you're gonna get Rolex day the whole day. It's a Rolex day. Too many diamonds for me. Exactly. It's not for me either. It's not for me. It's not for me at all. It's not for me. But you saw the retail price that I told you. I told you a retail price for that watch of $154,900 plus your Uncle Sam's taxes. And I'm telling you what to pay for it, I mean, it's not my cup of tea. I don't see myself, wearing that watch. But okay, some people like to be Liberace. The guy with the piano, the black and white, teclas, piano, Liberace. It's what it is, So you got that one, all right? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk to you about a Rolex Yellow Gold Daytona with a green dial. Rolex Yellow Gold Daytona, green dial. These people out there have it, for $80,000. This is not the new one. This is the old one, the reference 116. You know what I'm trying to say? The John Mayer 116508, 40 millimeter, fully green dial. John Mayer, full, Dow is green completely. And these people have a price out there, 80,000 still, they're trying hard to, but they can't. They can't. Don't believe what they're telling you. Don't believe what they're telling you. This is them working together. Exactly, Mike. You're at the number, Mike. Mike is at the number. Mike, you're at the number, Papi. Forget it. You know what you're talking about. They're working among themselves. Dealer to dealer. Dealer to dealer. Saludos, Alberto. Saludos. Dealer to dealer. You buy from me, I buy it back from you. You buy from me, I buy it back from you. And they're trying to get that. But there's no way. The watch market is dead. No matter. Don't get offended with me when I say the watch market is dead. Don't get offended, because I'm telling you, I must have in Rolex watches, not in my house, just in case you're thinking, not in my house, in my safe deposit box, I must have 15 Rolex watches, 15. And I say the watch market is dead. And I have 15 Rolex watches, Look at that. Read what Mr. Alberto just wrote down, ladies and gentlemen. Read what he just wrote down. And learn from your Organic Watch channel subscribers. Read what he wrote down, where he's at. Papi, you cannot, I know it's hard for you to, but I tried, couldn't get that number. You're not trying hard enough. You take out your stack and you put it down. You put your stacks. This is what I have. You have that? How long have you had it? No, I've had it, they're going to give you the wishy-washy. Me too, I've had it for a long time. Look at it. I have it right here. This is what I want to pay you. And I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that John Mayer. Mr. Mike just finished telling me a price. He said $50,000, right? I'm not going to give you that number, but he's in the right direction. He's not going to pay $80,000. Mike is not going to pay $80,000. Mike is not going to pay $70,000. I'm going to tell all of you on this John Mayer green Dow yellow gold. The retail price of that John Mayer was $38,700. And I'm going to tell all of you to do yourself a favor. This is a used slider condition material, probably from 2018, 17, those years, It's an older, it's already been, it's been touched around and scratched around and laid around and passed around like, Betty Boo, It's been passed around like Betty Boo, it's been everywhere. And I'm going to tell you for that watch, because you guys want that watch, don't pay for that watch more than $56,000 and dropping. You do whatever you want, Papi. You got to stop believing those people that you see out there with analytics, chart watch, you got to stop looking at jobs, channel. You got to stop looking at 23 chrono. If you're going to look at somebody to learn a little bit about numbers so you can play with them, I'm not telling you. I'm not advising. I'm just saying, if you want to learn, look at that place, Bay E, Bay E, because you got there crazy people. They'll put numbers there. You go, wow, what is this, when you see a crazy number in Bay E, where you say where you're located and tal, okay, meet me in the police station in such place, I'm going to buy you the watch. If they come, you're going to get a deal. If they don't come, you knew it was a scam. It's simple as that. I'll meet you within police station and we park over there and we do everything. Is that good with you? Yeah, okay, we meet over there. So, the same thing with the other one, with the list. You see, there it is. I see the John Mayer selling for $79,000. You see, you said the word, I see. I see. I see is a big word. I see. That's what you're seeing. You're seeing. You're seeing that. Are they buying it? Esto están comprando, papi. Esto están comprando. Papi, the only ticket today is buying at retail. Buying at retail. Asking price. Okay, Papa, asking price. You're right. Asking price. But if you are to buy, you gotta buy at retail. We have a gentleman here that I don't know, Alberto. He's a gentleman that he travels the whole world. He's international, He's international and he's in different fairs of watches and the most famous ones around the world. And he got a watch that if you gotta buy it from the gray watch market, which is a Rolex date. I don't know if it's a 36 or 40. I don't know what it is. Yellow gold puzzle, the puzzle dial. They were asking for that watch, over $250,000. But if you can get it at retail, MSRP, you did well. I don't know if he bought it at MSRP, but he showed me sent me a nice picture, video, and it looks beautiful. If you can buy like that, you don't have no problem, because if you're gonna go pay $200, te jodiste, But whatever it is, you know what I'm trying to say. There you go. There he is right there. He's right there. And he's telling me, yeah, if you can buy it like that, Papi, you're good to go. If you can buy a Rolex date with a puzzle dial at retail, Papi, you hit a grand slam. That's the only way. But if you're going to buy that watch from the gray watch market, they're going to, that watch has been passed around, by that quarterback, that quarterback that played for the Patriots. What's his name? He played with inflatable footballs and he threw it, I forgot his name. You know what I'm trying. I think it's called, what's his name? What's the name of that quarterback? He got it. Alberto got that watch. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm trying to tell you, if you're going to buy a watch, from a Rolex, and you can buy MSRP, you're good. Tom Brady, Tom Brady got one, and boom, he sold it for $400,000, $300,000. I don't know what it was. Over $200,000 they sold it because he had it. Tom Brady. I think in the dial it said Tom Brady and everything. I don't know. Those people are crazy. It's crazy. Alberto, I also know dealers for 30 plus years too. Congratulations to you, Papa. I'm very happy that you got that watch at retail. You don't understand. Listen, I get happy to see any of our organic watch channel subscribers get any watch that they want, at retail. I get happy. You just happen to hit a grand slam. Otani hit a grand slam with the bases loaded. You got a watch that is very, very rare to get. That is very rare to get. And I know people for 30 years too, but I have not been offered one. I have not been offered one. And I doubt that any of my 17 organic watch channel subscribers have been offered a Rolex Day Puzzle Dial, Yellow Gold, Congratulations again to you, Alberto, de verdad. Felicidades. Felicidades. Eres grande, papá. And thank you so much for sharing your video and the pictures of you making that purchase at your Rolex AD. And that is good that you're showing that, because a lot of people don't believe it. They don't believe, that people are getting watches. They don't believe it. They don't believe it. So we're going to continue on with this, ladies and gentlemen. This is a Rolex Yellow Gold Daytona. They call this the leopard dial. Leopard dial, leopard strap, a leopard, with yellow stones, orange stones around the bezel. It's a beautiful watch. It has, it has diamonds. It's a Liberace watch. I think that actor, that actor that he does a lot of movies. I think he's the nephew of Francis Ford Coppola. I forgot, Nicholas something. He has that watch, and you gotta be very, very, sure of yourself if you wanna rock that watch. I think it's a beautiful watch, to be honest. The leopard, it's a beautiful Daytona, and I don't think it's a lot of that production of that watch. I don't think there is. But to each his own. And ladies and gentlemen, that reference number, that watch is the 116598 with a retail price of $84,900. That's the one, Papa. Thank you, Papa. That one, Nicolas Cage. He has that watch. He likes that watch, the lip, wow, you know what I'm saying? He has that watch and he likes it, and you always see him in magazines and, with that watch on, I believe he has a very, very serious watch collection as well. I really do. But don't pay for that leopard. I told you the retail price, $84,900. Don't pay for that watch more than $65,400. You do whatever you want. Coño, Alberto, bien. Wow. Okay. Wow. Bravo, Alberto. Ding, ding, ding. I'm going to get a bell now. When our subscribers get something, ding, 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 give them the bell. Because yesterday, Alberto left me homeless when I saw that puzzle, man. I said, wow, man. I know somebody, they got the puzzle. And I've told already a couple of people, hey, listen to how this is heading. That one of our organic watch channel subscribers got the Rolex Day. Alberto, was it a 40 or 36? Un 40, un 36. Beautiful. There it is, 36, okay? Beautiful, Papa. I'll rock a 36 myself. I like a 36 too. When I first had a Rolex President, it was a 36. I even at one time had a junior President, without no day, but I had one. It was like a 34 or something like that. It was a little smaller. But congratulations to you again, Papa. Felicidades. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the Rolex White Gold Day 40 millimeter ombre blue dial. I need you to pay attention to this so you understand this and learn something. Because some of you really think that dials, are more expensive and, and this game and that game and the reference, When you're going to go buy a Rolex President, you walk in and you say, my birthstone was blue. My birthstone was green, right? An example, right? People walk in and they like the date, and they walk in. And when you're going to buy a date from your AD, basically is what they have. Yeah, we have the reference number so-and-so that you're looking for. Like an example, This is a Rolex white gold date 40 millimeter ombre blue dial. You know, reference number. Pay attention. Reference number 228239 with a fluted bezel. You know, ombre dial, beautiful ombre blue dial. All right. The retail price of that watch is $47,500. You're listening to me, right? $47,500. If you're looking to buy that ombre dial, which is the retail is 47,500, they might give you a white dial, they might give you a black dial, or maybe they can't give you the blue you're looking for, the blue ombre dial. So you have to settle for that because it's whatever they send them from the factory, you know. And if you're looking to buy that watch, don't pay more than $49,000. Use slider condition material watch. Don't pay more than $49,000. Now check this out now. Now we're gonna go to a Rolex white gold date 40 millimeter white dial, same reference number 228239, fluted bezel. You know, white dial, ombre dial. White dial, ombre dial. And that watch costs $47,500. But don't pay for the white dial. Don't pay. So you can see how much is the markup for something that it comes. If you walk in one day and they have the ombre dial, you got lucky. You got it. And that's it. You know, like you might say, I want a white dial. And your AD says, I don't have a white dial one. I have a blue dial, which is the one that everybody wants, right? And so you understand what I'm trying to say. And they're asking the same price for the blue. But I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that white one. Don't pay more than $36,500. How much are you paying for the ombre dial? How much? Yeah, you're paying another $10,000 for that ombre dial. No sean pendejos, no sean palomos, no sean lambones. Be smart. Stop being crumb bums and sandbags. Don't give away your money. It's the same watch, just with a different dial. Does the dial cost more? No. You got lucky, you got lucky. You know, it's what it is. Manada. All right? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna talk to you about another watch that maybe Alberto knows about this watch. This is a Rolex date platinum. You know, Rolex date platinum, 40 millimeter with a blue Arabic dial. You know, baguettes all around the bezel, you know, all around, you know. Un relosazo. This watch, when you hear the reference number, you understand and you know what you have to do to defend yourself from all these, you know, crumb bums. The reference number is the 228396, T as in Tom, B as in boy, R as in run, right? Beautiful watch. Beautiful, beautiful watch. When this watch was released, this watch was costing $114,100. And then, you know, all those, you know, they started raising the prices, blah, 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 blah. That watch now costs, the retail price is $118,650. Ladies and gentlemen, in the Corona era, this is an Arabic dial, which I explained to you already with the Arabic, you know, dial Daytona, you know, platinum Daytona, chocolate ceramic bezel, blue dial, blah, 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 regular American numbers, and then you had the Arabic. At one moment, that watch, the Daytona, was $250,000. And I told you the price the other day. And this date that I'm talking about was up there too. And over the $200,000 mark in the Corona era. So you understand what's going on, where we're at. You know, you're sitting down in your Ferrari F40, you know, and your Ferrari F40 listening to AC/DC, Hell's Bell, you know, woof. You go in there, you want that watch, you know, because it has, you know, you want the Arabic dial, you know, with the Arabic numbers. You don't want the American numbers, but you want that one. It's more rare, you know, more this. And I'm gonna tell you, this watch was over $200,000. I'm gonna tell you now. Don't pay for that watch. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want, but don't pay for that watch. It's, papi, it's crazy. It's dangerous out there. The watch business is dangerous. You gotta watch it. They'll take away your children's tuition money. They'll take your socks off without taking off your shoes if you fall asleep. Deep, they'll give it to you. Don't pay for that beautiful date, platinum, Arabic dial, baguette, bezel dial. Unbelievable. It's an unbelievable watch. But don't pay for that watch more than $104,000. Papi, ya Arabic se terminó. Arabic is over, man. They did enough damage to you people with the Arabic, Y usted se volvían look, Arabic. Open up, papi, open up. You saw the retail. At one moment it was 114 and then it jumped up to 118. And I'm telling you today, don't pay more than 104. Nobody has money out there, papi. Nobody has money. San pendejo. Nobody has money. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a watch back in the millennium that I had at one moment, and I had it in platinum, and I sold it, and I made a couple of nickels. Thank God I did what I did. This is a Rolex. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the Rolex Masterpiece. They had it in platinum, they had it in yellow gold, they had it in tricolor, all that good stuff. Tricolor. I don't know if you know. It's a date, but it's a 39 millimeter, not a 36, because in the millennium we still didn't have, it was, 36, but this was a 39. It was big, and this was a yellow gold one. This is a yellow gold one, so you don't get it wrong. You don't get it confused. It's not a platinum. Beautiful watch, beautiful watch, and but suddenly the reference number of the watch, if you want to look it up, is the 18948. With a diamond bezel. Un relosazo. It was a pimp. It was a pimp watch. It was a pimp watch. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Premium. Thank you so much, Papa. Beautiful watch, But for some reason, it started losing steam and it went down. The Masterpiece, 39 millimeter, yellow gold with diamond bezel all around it. Beautiful. And diamond markers too on the hours. Beautiful watch. Beautiful watch. And ladies and gentlemen, this watch, the retail price of that watch is $79,100. You had to be in Alberto, you had to be in Alberto, flying around all over the world, going to shows at that time, 1999, 2000, to give away, $80,000 retail at that time. And I'm going to tell you, sir, because you wanted to hear this. I'm sorry if I'm bursting your bubble, but this is how it is. Don't pay for that Masterpiece, yellow gold, 39 millimeter, reference number 18948, diamond bezel, diamond hour markers. Don't pay for that watch. And I mean, don't pay for that watch more than $38,500. Monstruo reloj, monster of a watch, but it's like for remember that show, The Kings, the Kings of Comedy. They were like four guys that make jokes. They wear those watches. It's a bling bling watch. But it just Oh wow! Thank you so much. Wow, Swiftus. Did anybody read what Swiftus just wrote down? One of our organic watch channel subscribers. You should take a look, see what he wrote down. Papi, la situación está jodida. No hay dinero por ningún lado. And let me tell you, when they were making those watches, those masterpieces, they were not hollow. They were not hollow like the dates. See, they were not hollow. They were just pure, heavy gold. The platinum, the yellow gold, the tricolor, 3 colors. They were heavy watches. So if you are buying that watch, you're basically buying a lot of gold because they're very, they're a tank. They're a tank. I mean, one of the heaviest watches they have. Right? Ladies and gentlemen, I have another watch market here for you. It's the Rolex White Gold Sky Dweller. Okay, all right. So they're Harlow. Okay, I didn't know that. But I had it. They were very heavy watch. I remember that watch was heavy. You put that. Maybe it was the platinum. Maybe I'm confusing myself with the platinum. Okay. The Rolex White Gold Sky Dweller. Oyster Flex 42 millimeter black dial. Reference number 336239 with a retail price of $48,900. You know, Oyster Flex. Unbelievable, this watch. I'm sorry to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, don't pay for that watch more. Don't pay more than $36,200. Okay? Sky Dweller. Oyster Flex, rubber, you know? White gold. You know? Be careful with that watch, because that watch is dropping faster than Billy Boy's pants in an Arkansas farmhouse. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a Rolex White Gold Sky Dweller leather. Leather strap, 42 millimeter, black dial with white circle. Little in the middle, the white dial in the circle. You know? One of the first Sky Dwellers, listen to this so you don't get flim-flam. A lot of people are trying to do a crossover from that leather strap and put a rubber, but you can't really, because somehow, some way, it doesn't really, you know, get in there perfect, you know? This is the reference number. This watch is the 326139. Okay? 326139. Rolex White Gold Sky Dweller, leather strap. Original leather strap. Reference number 326139. And ladies and gentlemen, the retail price of that watch is $44,900. I want to just ask you, you 19 there, what price am I going to tell you that I believe you should pay for that watch? What price? On that watch right there. That watch particular. You heard the retail, you heard everything. Same, you know, same size of the casing. You know, it's not Oyster Flex, it's a leather one. Does anybody know? Don't Google it, because if you Google it, you're not doing nothing, you know? 34, okay, 34 and dropping. Okay, Papa. Wow, okay. Thank you, Mr. Premium, for that. Anybody else? One more. 25. Okay. Swiftest, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. That's the number we're looking for, guys. That's the number we're looking for. That's the number we're looking for. Mr. Swiftest said $25,000. And ladies and gentlemen, it hurts me to tell you this, but if you're looking at that watch and they're selling you that watch, and you look at it, because probably it's a white gold, you know, it has the same dial. I think even the dial is even more prettier because it has the black, and then in the middle, the center of the Sky Dweller is white, you know, so it looks even nicer than the one that's fully black, you know, the new one now. But ladies and gentlemen, like Mr. Swift has said, you know, yeah, it's a leather. The only thing is white gold is the head. That's it. Don't pay, you know, Mr. Swift has said $25,000. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, half of what he said. Don't pay for that watch more than $22,500. You do whatever you want. And ladies and gentlemen, a lot of those watches, they're missing, you know, the cards. You know, at that time, people were just, you know, people, when they would buy a watch back then, they say, I don't want the box. I don't need the box. Right there, they were giving away for free to a Lambong, you know, to the fleecer. They were giving already $300, $400 on the box, you know, and sometimes they, you know, I don't even need the card. They will leave it there, you know. These watches come basically desnudo, naked, okay? You heard the price. Ladies and gentlemen, these are my two last watches, so you guys can continue your afternoon this Sunday, okay? This is another Rolex Sky Dweller with a blue dial, 42 millimeter, reference number 336935, oyster bracelet, you know? Oyster bracelet, rose gold, papi. This is, you know, it has a blue on this dial. Is beautiful. You know, it's a beautiful blue dial. Rose gold. And it has an oyster bracelet, fully rose gold. And the retail price of this watch is $58,300. And I've been telling a lot of people, this watch, or you're playing even money with this watch, or it's going to drop. And a lot of people, hey, you know, what are you talking about? This has the most beautiful blue, green dial, whatever you want to call it. Blue dial, I don't care, whatever you want to call it. And I said, listen to me, I'm not making here a pissing contest of who's right or who's wrong. I'm telling you what I believe, and you're telling me what you believe. That's it. Nothing happens. And they have a hard time thinking that that the watch is over the retail. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you, for that watch, which is a beautiful watch, don't pay for that watch. You do whatever you want, but don't pay for that watch more. Listen to this. He put $54,000, and I gotta be honest, don't pay for that watch more than $55,000. Thank you very much. A premium for that, Thank you very much. Don't pay more than 55. But people are still arguing. No. It's this. I said, Bobby, I'm not here to argue with you, man. I'm not here arguing. A ver quién me ama lejos. A ver quién me ama lejos. I'm not. Who pisses you the longest? I'm not. I'm here giving you, asking me. I'm telling you my opinion. You're telling me yours. That's it. That's it. So that's your number on that. And ladies and gentlemen, this is my last watch market update of this afternoon. This is also a Rolex stainless steel Sky Dweller with a blue dial, 42 millimeter, reference number 326934, with an Oyster bracelet. Oyster bracelet, not Jubilee, Oyster. The retail price of that watch is $16,500. Premium, how much am I going to tell you not to pay for that watch? Let's see where you're at. Swiftest, anybody? Tell me how much. Tell me how much. Nobody knows? Don't Google it. Well, if you Google it, you're not going to get my numbers. So, absolutely. Don't pay more than $18,700 in dropping. All right, guys? Thank you very much, Premium, for joining me on this Watch Market Update. And thank all of you for being here with me live on this Sunday afternoon and this matinee, matinee. Okay? Again, I want to thank all of you for always supporting the channel by being here. Because if we don't have nobody, no fans here, the watch show is no good. So thank you very much for, being here. Just by being here, it means a lot. And again, Alberto, I want to congratulate you in front of all your Organic Watch channel subscribers and supporters. Congratulations on that watch you got, Papa. Use it well in health. Con mucha salud en tu cuerpo completo, in your whole body. Lots of health. Anyway, guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and like me and Sweet Kid Kino will say always to you, take care and brush your hair. Have a good day. Be well. Thank you.